a finance tab right up here. It's not quite ready in our council just yet, but that's where you'll see that when you're ready to submit your finance report. We should have that ready to go shortly. So we're going to just take a few minutes to talk about what you can do to help you build some troop meeting ideas in the volunteer toolkit. To quickly review the top sections here before then, my troop contains all of your troop information, so you can find all of your girls and your adult members right on that tab, including their contact information if you should need it. Consider this Explore tab like your landing page, so that's where you're going to get started in building. Once you have a few meetings set up, you can go right to your year plan to go through them. The meeting plan will take you to a specific meeting. And resources are a whole bunch of helpful links to different grade level specific things and different council specific things that you may need to help you out on your Girl Scouting journey. So typically I suggest when you get started at the beginning of the year, building out your troop year, I like to suggest that you look through these pre-selected tracks because that's going to give you either a badge year or a journey with everything kind of all planned out for you. Since we're already out here in April and we may just be looking to plug some things in to do with our girls, I'm going to start by walking us through this build your own option. So when you click that for the first time, it's going to pop you up and let you know that you're going to select a year plan. If you already have something in there, you may see a different pop-up. It may warn you that you're going to overwrite your current year plan. When we get over to the year plan, I will show you how to get started there, so you don't overwrite your year plan. So if you see a pop-up that's kind of warning you that you're going to start a new plan, click no because we're going to go over a different step there in a minute. So when you do build your own, you're going to pop up this lovely search filter. There's lots of pros and cons here, but the way I like to use this, if you know specifically the name of the badge or journey you're looking for, you can go ahead and type that in. If you're not entirely sure of the exact name, my best suggestion is that you use the filters because then you can see other similar topics that might kind of cause some brainstorming and give you some ideas of what you can do with your girls. So I'm going to click into use filters. I'm in a brownie level troop, but when you go into select your Girl Scout level, you can click anyone that you want to look for. I like this a lot from multi-level troops because you can click specifically to do a multi-level journey, or you can choose to look at specific grade levels and build in similar meetings that you can run on the same day. I'm just going to stick with looking at some brownie information for now. So the next section that pops up asks you to select the type of meeting plan that you want. You can look for an intro or family meeting at the beginning of the year. If you're looking to close up for the year, you can get some ideas for bridging or closing ceremonies. There's journeys in here, but since we're thinking specifically about how to run some activities at home using the volunteer toolkit, we're going to take a look at this badges and petals option. From there, it's going to take you over to the different badge categories. As you can see, there's quite a few. Anything that has this beautiful little new sign next to it means that we have new badges uploaded in there for this Girl Scout year. So I'm going to just click at random and we're going to look at some nice healthy living badges. So I'm going to click healthy living. You can select one, you can select a bunch of them. I would say if you select a bunch, be aware it may take some time to load, and you may find it overwhelming to go through all the categories. So I like to just do one or two at a time. So now you can see we're going to look at all of the brownie badges that are in the healthy living section. So we have the dancer badge. Many of these are broken up into at least 2 meetings. Some are broken up into 3. How about for this exercise, we will take a look at the first aid badge. So we will click to select the meeting, and I'm going to select both of them because I want to make sure we can see what it looks like when they're both on there. I also want to draw your attention to this cute little tree next to the meeting name. Anywhere that you see a tree, there is an option within that meeting plan to take activities outside, which is an amazing option, especially as our weather is getting nicer up here in New England. So before I even go down further and take a look at what this looks like, I always like to encourage people to start by managing your calendar. If you already have your calendar set up for the year, that's fantastic. Don't worry about this step. But if you're new to the volunteer toolkit, I want to make sure that you get your dates in there so you can make sure you have the full functionality available to you. So once you click that option, you're going to see meeting date and locations. Since we're on April 15th right now, I'm going to say that we'll just get started right here for April 20th for our first meeting. You can specify specific times right here. I'm just going to leave it at 4 p.m. biweekly. And write down here all these check marks on these holidays. If there is a check mark next to the holiday, that means it won't populate you a meeting for that week. So if you don't want to meet, for example, the week of Thanksgiving, leave that check on there. If, for example, you don't mind meeting the week of Washington's birthday, you can uncheck that and it won't populate a meeting there. You can also go through and add your locations for your meetings, which is great if you're a more mobile troop and you don't have a meeting location you go to the same time. So, for example, if you meet at the library and then you meet at the school, sometimes you have community meetings, you can put all those in there as well. Once you have all that in there, you hit Update Calendar. It'll give you a little pop-up that lets you know that the year plan for troop ends on June 30th. And the date you selected will result in 2 meetings because we're just looking to do some at-home stuff right now. That sounds good to me, so I'm going to check OK. So now that we have our dates populated, we will take a scroll down. You're going to see lots of these orange bars on here because this is the demo site. On our site, we have fewer ones. These are called milestones, and we just plug some things in there that are important dates to remember in Girl Scouting. So as we take a look here, we have our badge preloaded because we think our girls are going to work on the first aid badge. The great thing about this is, as you can see, it has a nice little shadow around it. So if you click that, you can see this basic overview of the 5 steps that a brownie would take to earn the first aid badge. This is a very, very high-level overview. We're going to dive in a little deeper in just a second. But before we do that, if you're someone that already uses the VTK and you just want to plug some more in, what you're going to want to do instead of starting from the Explore page is you're going to click here where it says Add Badge Journey. And when you click that, you're going to see that same search function, so you can go into your filters, search the same way, and then this way it's going to add it to the end of your troop year instead of rewriting your troop year. Petal from here, it will go to the very end of your troop year. So when you get there, you're going to want to go down and change the dates to make sure they're on the dates that you want. So we'll show you how to do that with this one. So let's say First Aid 1 and First Aid 2 we're going to do on the same day. So if you click the calendar date to the left of the meeting, you can see the calendar right here. And then it can have you change your meeting date and time. So we don't want to do that on May 4th, but we're going to do them on the same day. So I'm going to click back into April, and I'm going to click April 20th. And you'll see there it says that you can save it. And you'll see that the error message popped up. That is because I am trying to merge them together without doing it the correct way. So what we do there, so we'll say, okay, we don't want to do it on the 20th, we'll do it the weekend after. So we'll click the 27th. Now we'll click save, and it will move it there for us now. If we did want to combine our meetings, which can be super fun, I can go back and say, oh, maybe I do want to combine them and do them on the same day. So instead of clicking into your calendar here, you're going to scroll up to where it says Manage Calendar. And you'll see this meeting date and location option now looks a little bit different. That's why it was important to make sure we set our start date at the beginning of the session. So you'll see it says select the calendar to change the date, time, or cancel an individual meeting. You can also group multiple meetings to a single date. If you click the gear, that's going to reconfigure the date from that day forward. So if you have a whole bunch of meeting dates on here and you want to change from like Mondays to Thursdays for the rest of your troop year, if you click the gear, you'll be able to go in and do a batch change for everything. But since we're just looking to combine our meetings, I'm going to go ahead and click our calendar. So you can see you have your options here: change date or time, cancel meeting, or combine meeting. So we know we want both of these to take place in the same day. So I'm going to go ahead and check those. Then I'll hit continue. And we're going to have an option that says select a date, time for the meeting, and save your choice. So we know we both want these to be on the 20th. So it's going to say first aid 1, first aid 2, new date on the 20th. Then I will scroll down. I'm still good with taking that place at 4, so now I'll hit save. And now both of these will take place on the same day. So that is a very quick overview of what our year plan looks like. I'm going to take a quick peek over now into the meeting plan to show you what this can do for you when you're working on your at-home activities. So you can click on any of the badges you've added to work from home, and as you scroll down, it's going to take you through what a meeting would look like when you're running it in person. So on the top here, we have a quick header with some requirements. If you click see more, you can see those same steps we saw on the pop-up on the other page. The really cool part and why I love the VTK so much is this planning materials section. If we go into the meeting overview, it's going to talk to us about what the whole meeting can look like. It's basically an introduction to it. It's going to talk to you about how you can get the girls outdoors as part of it, leaving time for the closing ceremony. It really kind of breaks down what a meeting looks like for you, which is really helpful if you are just trying this for the first time at the beginning of the year, or really looking to figure out what parts you can pull together to do your at-home meeting. So the activity plan, this is where it's going to be really helpful for you when you're planning at home stuff. So it's going to walk you through step by step what an in-person meeting should look like. And you can kind of read through that and get a sense of what you can adapt to change from home. So we'll just take a look at this as girls arrive activity. So for this it says you need a pencil box or a zipper bag, stickers, colored markers or Sharpie. The steps, each girl is going to decorate a plastic box or zipper bag to use as a portable first aid kit. The girl will take their box home to fill its supplies with their family. This one is very adaptable. So if you know ahead of time you're going to work on a first aid meeting, what you're going to want to do is reach out to the girls' families and say, hey, we're going to get our meeting started by building a portable first aid kit at home. Do you have a plastic baggie you can spare? Do you have some first aid supplies you can spare? Do you have a box you could use? And you can then go through and figure out what you can do. We should always bear in mind when we're doing these at-home activities that not everyone will have the materials needed, so we can always think of an option. Like for this one, I'm thinking that if the girl doesn't have any supplies at hand she can use to actually build a portable first aid kit, she can go through and get a nice piece of paper, a pencil, or she can use her tablet or Chromebook she's using for her schoolwork if she's able to use it for other activities, and create kind of a diagram there so she can draw what the outside should look like, draw what should be in the first aid kit, make sure she labels each part, and she can have that handy so she can then build one later when you're back at your troop meetings if she would like to. So for each section, you're just going to go through, take a look at what it looks like, and see what you want to do from there to kind of make it adaptable from home. The great thing I really, really like about this is that it has scripts for you. So if you're not sure how to get started online, or if you have things you want to copy paste to make sure you get the right information across, it's all right there for you to grab. It's done so much of the work for you to help you get started. Up next is the materials list, which lets you know exactly what you need for each meeting. This will be a really good one for you to take a look at so you can copy this to send out to the girls' families to make sure they'll have what they need, and have some different options in there to make sure that they're ready to go if they don't have what's on the list. So for example, again, with that arrival activity, you could send out a list that says, pencil box or zipper bag, markers, first aid supplies, or pen and paper to create diagram of first aid box. When you get down to this section, you are going to see some handouts. This looks like it's not the right handout for this meeting, but if you see some handouts in there, you can actually send those out to the families in the troop. So if you go up to where it says edit or send meeting reminder email, you can use this communication box from right here to touch base with the parents. So it has an email that's already written out for you. Since we're doing things a little differently and working on at-home meetings, you're probably going to want to erase this and kind of go through and plug in your information. But then when you come down here where it says include meeting aid, you'll be able to click in and select the meeting aids from that meeting. So you can include those, send them to the parents, and make sure the girls have them handy. Finally, I'm going to take you down to the agenda. This is where you're going to dial in really closely to get those ideas and those activities for your meeting. So we're going to go and take a look at, let's say, first aid scavenger hunt. So this is outside. It sounds perfect. We know the girls have been inside working on their schoolwork all day. So we can work on having them work on this on the outside. You can take a look through it, read what the requirements are, see what works best. This will require some cooperation with the families because this one looks like has some index cards listing different first aid items. That could be anything from like post-it notes to truly anything that would work best. It's all about that brainstorming, and this gives you those seeds to get that conversation started. So you can have the girls find their cards, look for the first aid item. If they don't have them, they can look for that drawing of the first aid item, a printout of it, really whatever works best for your troop. There's ideas for closing ceremonies. There's other games in each meeting. And really, like I said, the great thing about this is it's going to get you started and get those seeds planted, give you some ideas, give you some scripts, give you a place to go, get a place to get started to help create those meetings for the girls at home. So I'm going to take a peek at the comment section now to see if there's any questions. Feel free to chime in if you have any thoughts or ideas. I'm happy to answer your questions now. But just like I said, the VTK is a great way to get started. The work is already in there. It's plugged in for you. All you have to do is get through there, sort it, access it, and get the ball rolling. It's super helpful. I very much appreciate you taking the time to join us today to talk about the VTK, the Volunteer Toolkit. Great opportunity to connect with your girls, get them some ideas. If you'd like some further training on the Volunteer Toolkit, please reach out to our customer care team. So you can email them at customercare@girlscoutsgwm.org or give a call at 888-474-9686, and we can schedule a time to kind of do a deeper dive with you to help you learn how to use the VTK. Super helpful, it's accessible, it's there, it's ready, and best of all, it's free. So best of luck. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this session. We have some more sessions coming up this week.